Hey, what's up? Hey, this is Gary, and this is the Hate 7 podcast. Super stoked, super psyched that you are listening. You chose a great day and a great episode to listen to. I have Lonnie Cole on the pod today. Way stoked. He's from an amazing band from Jonesboro, Little Rock, Arkansas area called I Am the Catalyst. You might have heard. Um, so let's get to kind of intros and get those out of the way. So listen, the Hate 70 podcast is on Instagram. You could follow that. Just spell out Hate 70 podcast. Uh, so you can send like any, you can send any DMs or any comments, any show ideas, anything you have. Make sure you can just totally correspond with us there. But if you really, really want to talk to us, we do have an email at Gmail called Hate70podcast. Just spell that out. So we had Malika Allsworth last week. Our She was on the last pod. Please check that out. Amazing conversation I had with her. Uh, it was great. My favorite one because it was my kid. So be sure to check it out. Also, we have some shows coming up. Summer is about to start up. That means bands are going to be playing. Lots of things are popping off here in Jonesboro and the Little Rock area. Little Rock is popping, and Jonesboro is quick to follow. We are playing a show down in North Little Rock at a place called Grandma Lolly's Party Palace in North Little Rock. Just come out because it's probably the best venue that you've never been to. It's a literal house, so if you want to come to a house show, you've never been to a house show, open invite. Come out. Francesca of Grandma Lolly's Party Palace is the host, and she cooks dinner for everybody there. So come on out. It's just by donation, which is a beautiful thing. So there is a flyer. It hit the internet waves today. It's on our band page at I Am the Catalyst. It's on our Facebook. Be sure to share. We are playing and sharing the living room floor with our friends Death Spog. Had my good friend Chase Coleman on the pod a couple episodes back. Please make sure to come out. It's not that far. 2.5 hours. Come out. I mean, even if you're in Jonesboro, carpool, do what you got to do. Come on down. It's on a Saturday, and you can sleep in the next day. So without further ado, I want to introduce my good friend and amazing vocalist, great person, great dad, who I am fortunate to get to know in this lifetime, Mr. Lonnie Cole.
What up, man?
What's up, buddy?
Not a lot. Doing good.
Doing
How's it
good.
going?
Well, it's been a whole uh,
Few hours.
it's been a whole 24 hours since we hung out, and
Yep.
yo, we had a good times. We are playing. We are working on the set for Francesca's place. What do you think of Grandma Lolly's Party Palace?
Um, what do I think about
The name.
the? So the name is what throws me off. I think that I'm grateful to have a show there.
Yes.
Because I mean it's gonna be our first one together with the new lineup. So
I'm really stoked because I tell you, I've been trying to really kind of hunt down shows, for us to kind of go play and everything. And her response time was so fast and just so inviting.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, it was just that quick. So she was really quick to respond and say, yeah, I have these dates available, and I probably can count on one hand the people that have done that. So we were very, very grateful, very fortunate, and if Francesca is listening, we are so thankful for that. So we get to go down, hang out, and party in their living room, and
Yep.
it's gonna be great. I'm
Yeah,
psyched.
I'm excited for it, man. The response time, like how eager they seem to get us in there,
Yeah.
for sure. Like, we we're looking, looking to get one in the bag, and
Right.
it seems like a good one. I'm more curious to see the reaction
I
from
am
them.
too.
Yeah.
I am too, because I was kind of going through flyers on their IG, and I was like, so I wonder if they've had any bands this heavy or this moshy there,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
You haven't found any?
I don't know.
That's what I was wondering
And
too.
I've done like you know how you look at I don't know about you, but I look at band flyers, then I
Yeah.
go like to Spotify or wherever or YouTube and kind of try to look them up and go. So far in my research, I haven't found anything. But she was so inviting. I told her it's like, and I actually sent her the track of Brick and Mortar.
Yeah.
So she didn't.
Cool. I
She
mean,
didn't say no.
well, that's kind of what I mean too. Is sending the track. There's a little bit of difference, man. Like we're one of those bands that whenever you hear it,
Yeah.
it sounds a certain way, but whenever you experience it,
Yeah.
it's a little bit more punch to the chest. So
Yeah.
we'll see what Francesca thinks after.
Yeah. Cause that's happened a couple times. I've sent, cause they'll ask like, if I have anything, and I'll send it, and I'm like, you just get crickets,
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like, good God, dude.
Yeah, it's
All right.
tough. But that I think in the future having a diverse lineup, kind of like what
Yeah.
we've talked about before.
Sure.
I think that kind of, if it's not a all metal affair, more
Right.
places may be
Right.
more receptive to it. But
Yeah.
I'm
I think what's Radium, they're from that area, and I think they're like their Instagram said like a funk doom
yeah,
metal band
yeah,
or something.
yeah. I'm interested to hear that. I don't think I've checked them out.
I couldn't find them on Spotify, so I don't know.
I've listened to the fellas in Death's Fog though.
Yeah, so
Have
that
checked them out. So, yep.
yeah, they got a new track. It's on Spotify. They dropped a remastered track. Um, what they're doing is really cool. If you're going to kind of like to the like slow black metal atmospheric type
Mm-hmm.
metal stuff, so they're doing something really really cool and creative. So it's gonna be like really really diverse as far as the show goes. Um, so I know we have some stuff kind of lined up in Fort Smith, and but that's later in August. We have a show lined up. Also, I think the day before in a place called Cord, Arkansas, a place called Heathen's House. We're gonna play with some bands like
Dude.
Pantheon from Little Rock, which I'm not yet listened to them yet. So
That venue I've never been there, but that looks nice.
is it outside?
Yeah.
It's an outside venue.
Yep.
Okay.
It's like so the stage basically has an awning, but it's they built the stage. They have campground. They have a treehouse,
Dude.
a VIP treehouse. Yeah, for the bands.
You had me at Treehouse.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. They
That's
have
awesome.
on their Facebook page. They have a video where there's the guy that's kind of showing off the grounds. He shows the stage, the
Okay.
treehouse, the campgrounds. Dude, it's like festival.
That's
type of
cool,
thing.
man.
Yeah,
That's cool.
like
That's cool.
They could have a massive show out there.
Well, I think they're like, aren't they? I think on the same day that we're playing out in North Little Rock, I think they're having some type of like death fest out there with like stacks and stacks of like death metal bands. I thought,
Oh, cool.
yeah. So
That would be cool.
I don't know. Okay, very cool. So we got things cooking. But I do want to kind of get started and kind of like so. I'm kind of like I got some stuff listed. I'm kind of like trying to find out where I really want to start. And so people, in case people don't know who you are, because this isn't your first time being in a band, this isn't your first time being a vocalist or anything like that. Why don't you maybe give a little bio intro and kind of like like where it all began.
Cool. Yeah. So it really started as a teenager. So my first band was so it was kind of like a a duo type of deal. So me and my best friend Nathan,
Yeah.
as you know,
Yep.
you're very familiar,
Uh-huh.
but he and I joined it's like a post-hardcore band, I guess you could call it, but it was called The Fear Shall Fall. They were already an existing band. We were additional members. It was just kind of one of those things to where we were, teenagers. We were friends,
Gotcha.
hung out, all like the same type of music. Essentially, we tried it. It worked. It sounded good.
Nice.
They felt like, it added a different element to the music that they had, and we went on to write some good stuff.
Okay.
That didn't last too long. We played a couple pretty cool shows. One being at Rocket Town.
What?
Yeah, actually got to play with Veil of Maya in a
The
post-hardcore band. Yeah,
in Nashville?
yeah. It was like this big festival type thing. There were multiple stages, multiple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. We didn't play on the main stage, obviously, but we played on, I mean, it was a pretty,
Nice.
there was a few hundred people packed into the
Wow.
one we were at. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I wish Nathan was here because he may be able to tell you, but the band that went on after us was so nasty. Like they were good. Like
Yeah.
heavy. Yeah. I wish I could remember who that was, but we went up, did good. It was cool. But there were some good bands, man. You look back at it and it's like, dude, we played with Veil of Maya.
That is wild. I never
Yeah.
knew that.
Yeah. So that's the first band. After that, so Nathan and I, like I said, that's been my guy for the longest time. We wanted to get into something a little bit heavier.
Gotcha.
So whenever the band kind of, had different interests, kind of broke up. So
Yeah.
me and Nathan kind of stuck together, and we were like, well, okay, well let's ground up, let's make what we want to make.
Cool.
So we're like, all right, let's do it. We got together, started writing. We had Chris Honey, which was our drummer.
Love Chris.
Yeah, very familiar with Chris too. Chris is awesome. Shout out Chris.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the that was kind of the beginning of AHP. We found Devin Coster.
Okay.
And Chris Owens. Chris Owens played bass with us. Devin Coster played guitar. So shout
Gotcha.
out to those fellas.
Yeah. Nice.
And yeah, so going into As Hope Perishes, that was kind of our baby. We started that one ground up, and we weren't like, whenever we started playing shows, it was almost like there was a little bit of, not necessarily like rejection, but it was like, wait, who are these guys? Because there were, most of the bands we played with were from Jonesboro.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of knew everybody.
Right.
Like we weren't treated any certain type of way, but it was like, we need to earn our place here. You know what I mean?
I gotcha.
So
I gotcha.
it was more of like a motivation to, to push it.
Sure.
So
Sure.
eventually it paid off pretty well. We had a, really good, we were really well received, like at the Commonwealth.
Yeah,
We had
absolutely.
some massive shows there.
You guys were heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
The Well in Poplar Bluff.
Yeah.
Dude, amazing shows there. There are a lot of good ones. But yeah, that's where most people, I would say, know, like if they've heard of me and music, it's from
As Hope.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
for now.
Yeah, for that.
So As Hope Perishes lasted, we had a pretty good run.
Yeah.
After that, I
How long were you guys a band?
man, like 2008 until like, man,
Because you guys were still cooking while I moved to West Memphis 2012, 2013. So were you guys still doing things then?
that's about when it stopped.
Okay.
Like 2011, 2012. I know we did College Fest, which was a really good one for College Hoskins.
Oh, mercy. Yeah, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Yep, we did that. Off the top of my head, I think that was the last one we did. Not 100% sure, but
I got you.
but yeah, like there was a lull there. We were, we had broken up, but we were like, well, if somebody wants us to play a show, we'll hop on.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was. I'd say 3 years probably.
Gotcha.
Ish. Yeah. Um.
Yeah, you guys were very well received. I remember those first shows going on. I know you played at the place behind like the putt putt golf place,
Oh yeah.
and there's a lot of shows there. Did you guys play any shows on Main Street at all? I thought you had. I thought it was like
Yeah.
I thought you did. 'Cause I was looking through flyers. There's maybe like a what was it, candy corn? Was it Candy Corn Fest or something like that?
Yep.
There's a bunch of local bands. Yeah.
Did that. And actually there was I think the party room. Was that like the little
Yeah.
spot yeah,
Yep.
spot you could rent out?
Yep.
That was pretty fun too. They had a pretty big stage there,
They did.
surprisingly. Yeah.
They did. I missed that place.
Yeah.
I think I need to talk to Steph, but I don't know why we stopped. There was something about reason why we stopped doing shows there. It wasn't because we really didn't want to do or want to stop doing shows there. I think the guy that we were renting it from, I think he saw the response that we were getting,
Yeah.
and I think he continually just wanted more money and more money for the space. And I was like,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
But it was lots of room in that place. Man, just had a lot of potential. So we played there. Um, so okay, so we played. Did you play like you played like you guys play like Brick House, Get Down, things like that, downtown area?
Yeah. I don't think we ever hit Get Down. I think we got there like right as it went away.
Right as it went away. Okay.
Yeah, like we played shows while it was still there. I went to see actually I'm the Catalyst, After the Altar, Get Over It. Man, I've seen a few at Get Down, but that was kind of like early on. That was like as we were riding, like kind of getting everything together.
Right.
So
And they were good to us, I thought, because in kind of retrospect to kind of like to now, like it's like pulling teeth right now, I think, as far as like getting shows downtown Jonesboro. But like in retrospect, we were really, really fortunate. We didn't know how fortunate we're. Looking back, it's like, the Get Down was good. You had that guy who owned all of that real estate down there on Main Street, and he was cool about it, and of course, Powerhouse was down there just for a little bit too.
Mhm.
And man, it's like, I think I could have swore like Danny or them putting on shows at like the Armory or something.
yeah, I think so. I don't think I ever went to those, but I was always trying to get, trying to find out.
I don't think I ever went to any of those either, and I was kind of like, I see like I think I was just maybe through flyers or through like word of mouth, like those shows happen, and that might even have been like even after I moved to like West Memphis. So I was kind of wondering like where shows were kind of like happening then, because I knew things were still going strong back then. So
the first, I know this is kind of like a subject switch, but it's still on the topic of shows. The very first show we ever played as like the what would become As Hope Perishes, was a Commonwealth show on Nettleton. It was a smaller venue.
Yeah,
remember?
The storefront.
Yeah,
the storefront building. It's still one of my favorite venues. That's the one. My good friends Jeremy Speaks and John Kirby. We kind of went in on together. It's still one of my favorites because it had just the right size.
Yeah,
just the right size. And it's like, and I was like, it has like those concrete walls. The sound, the acoustics were still good. You had an entrance. And it was just perfect. Yeah. Just perfect. Yeah.
Especially,
so did you do a show or you went to a show there?
No, we played it. Yeah.
You went to play the show there.
Yep. Very first one as, like I said, the first like version
The
of
first
As Hope
Inception.
Perishes. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. Holy cow. Okay, that's cool.
It's cool, man. That was the first time we met.
Yeah.
I think that might have been. I'm not sure.
As
You
you're
know,
talking about it, I'm remembering. Yeah.
back in the day, it was like it was almost like a thing that people did. Whenever you had a show, you went to eat IHOP after. That was always the.
That's exactly right. Well, so who did you guys play with? Because we all went like,
Man,
did you go down to any of those? Like, do you remember A Plea for Purging? Not like what it is now, but do you remember like A Plea for Purging playing there?
no,
Like,
no.
okay. And that was just, I mean, they were anything.
Yeah, dude.
It's like a totally different band, but like,
Dude,
I always bring up that subject.
we were well, except Devin. I can't speak for Devin because he was, I didn't know him initially. He was from Jonesboro.
Yeah.
But myself, Nathan, Chris, Chris Honey and Chris Owens. Like,
Yeah.
Chris Owens was from Manila.
Yeah.
Nathan, myself, and Chris Honey. We're out in the middle of cotton fields, so we're like,
Yeah.
yeah, we are. Just a few rednecks coming in trying to see what's going on with the metal. So
that's great.
We found some good shows. Yeah,
you guys
man.
were a really good band.
Thanks, man.
And the crowd response was always so good.
Yeah.
From the get-go. And you guys just got better and better and better. I mean, like even watching those shows like from, because there is a YouTube video out.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing a show there at behind the Putt Putt building.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. Actually, I think Chris Owens, I think he sent me a friend request. Like, it was like this ghost from the past. Like, oh my God, it's Chris Owens, man.
Yeah.
So that was incredible.
Yeah, I get that from people too, like people that I knew back, playing, first coming into playing shows, or like people that I met at shows, especially because, like I said, we were kind of like the outsiders because a lot of people knew each other. You had all the Jonesboro bands, or even branch out to Paragould, but like that group of bands, like kind of knew each other from previous bands or whatever. But we were kind of like the ones like coming into it.
Yep.
So, yeah, man, met a lot of cool people. Like, it was awesome, man.
So you went. So after As Hope Perishes, what kind of happened after that?
So after that, shortly after AHP, that's whenever I got got blessed with my first son.
Beautiful. Which
was like, change of life. And I really didn't know, new to being a father, I didn't know, if I was going to be able to play music and do this. And I really didn't have anything going on. So there was downtime. Eventually I got a opportunity to play with Strength of Arcadia, which those guys were, dope, like super dope guys.
They're really good.
Yeah, absolutely. You had Brian Walker, Cody Palantine.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, Hunter Phillips. Let's see who else we got. Johnny Turner, and then Chris Hufstedler was the original vocalist. So all of those dudes are sick.
I miss Chris, man.
Love him.
He's on my Facebook, but like I have not seen that dude. We talk like every now and again, but like on Facebook, but like
yeah,
we need like a class reunion or something.
Yeah,
because sometimes I'll see people out and about. I'm like, I feel like we just all need to wear name tags because I'm like, because years are kind of separate from the last time we've kind of been together. But so Chris and Blake, I think if I'm not wrong, I think he's trying to stir up stuff for Strength of Arcadia again or something like that.
Who is?
Blake.
Wait, who's that?
Not Blake.
Which one?
Not Blake. Cody.
Cody?
Cody. I don't know why I said Blake.
Hey, Cody, dude, all of those dudes are awesome.
Yeah, dude.
I love them. Love all of them.
Yeah, dude.
Cody is super, super talented. Like he's a great guitarist, but he like all the recordings and stuff.
Yeah.
He did all of it. He's a talented guy, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Much love.
So how long did you get? Like, how long did you do stuff with Strength of Arcadia?
Man, it was like 1 to 2 years.
1 to 2 years. Yeah.
Somewhere in that ballpark. And then that's kind of whenever boy number 2 came along,
Gotcha.
and with all of his stuff,
Sure.
complications and all that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I saw you guys at Reynolds Park building back in the day. That was really good. Who was the other? I keep trying to remember the other band that played that day.
That one was.
Who were those dudes? They're super nice and everything. I cannot remember their names. I feel bad too, though.
Yeah, I remember because that was the show for Ricky Betts' son.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was.
I can't remember.
Oh
man.
my gosh! It was like a
There's-
post-hardcore band.
Yep.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I could.
I know one of the guys in it is I think his name's Josh Adams, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I wish I could remember. My apologies to those guys. I cannot remember the name of the band, but I remember they were good.
Yeah, they were good. They were good.
And then the Adega played that one too.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. I think every once in a while, like up on the memories, like that that show flyer will show up. It's like it's the old. I think it's the mugshot of Oswald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it has the Adega and Strength of Arcadia.
Yep.
So I need to go hunt down that flyer because I'm pretty sure the name of that band will be on it.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yep. That was a fun one though.
That was a good one. So being in the 870, as long as you cannot be in the 870 scene without like having any stories from it.
Oh, dude.
Does anything like come to mind? You kind of like reminisce sometimes, or
always.
you're
dude.
a person of stories, so always like listening.
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as playing, like, playing shows, the coolest memory I have was the show you put on that had it was I think In the Midst of Lions. I think it was In the Midst of Lions, that show.
Wow.
It was a long lineup. You brought in this is gonna sound goofy to people who aren't aware, but Giddy Up Gangsta. But yeah, that show was big. I mean,
It was.
building was absolutely packed. So
Yeah.
the coolest memory that I have from there was, we had a few songs that got a lot of crowd participation. So
Yeah.
pile-ons and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I was standing on it was a 4x10 bass cab that we had rigged up in the front for me to stand on. Like,
Oh right.
Yeah. So I stood up on that, and we were playing the Outcast, and at the end of it, there's this big, sing along part.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I'm very thankful for my sister and a couple of other people because I did not anticipate that many people to pile on. I was standing on a 4x10 bass cab, like with the mic, and the crowd, like everybody is just piling up. They were taller than I was on the cab. The cab was getting tilted and pushed over, and my sister and somebody else have got like
Oh my God.
Yeah, they have my belt loop, and they're pushing me, like basically resisting the crowd. It was nuts.
Oh wow.
That's the only time I can remember being scared, like while playing a show. Yeah,
This is it.
yeah, because there was not a lot of room between where I was and Chris's drum set.
I had no idea that happened.
Yeah, I'm sitting like I know this is going to be bad. If I go backwards, this is going to be bad.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That was gonna be real bad.
yeah, my gut dropped, dude. I was terrified in the moment. Yeah.
So they're like your only support.
Yep, my lifeline. Man. Yeah, but that was cool.
You mess with the bully, get the horns, Lonnie.
Yep. I remember
Awesome, dude.
there was so we were supposed to play a show in Hernando, and we had a small group of people that were going to ride with us. This is kind of like a little side story.
Oh, very cool.
But I bought a van for it, and dude, I was so happy. Like, this van was perfect. Like, I mean, amazing, and we were looking forward to taking it out.
Right.
I think we got to take it to the Commonwealth once.
Okay.
So this show in Hernando, I guess it was like January or something.
Gotcha.
I don't remember who we were playing with, but I was like, okay, well, it was like, yeah, it was super snowy, and there's a bunch of people that can validate this story for you.
Okay.
So anyway, we're like deciding whether or not we're going to go to this show because it's getting bad, snow.
Gotcha.
This is how stupid I was as a 18, 19, 20-year-old. So we decide, nope, roads are too dangerous to go to Hernando, Mississippi, but we want to go to CC's. So I end up totaling the van. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Yep.
Oh, buddy.
Yep.
Well, you
Yep.
know.
Good times. But as far as show memories, man, like, I just, more so than anything, like, shout out the bands that played. Like,
Yeah.
So the very first show I ever went to in Jonesboro was, I think, Kingsdown.
Was that when you first got into like this genre of music? I mean,
No.
so what was your intro? Not to like sidebar too bad.
Yeah. No, my intro was kind of weird, to be honest, because I went from, like, I always liked rock music, like as a little kid, loved rock music.
Yeah.
Slowly it transitioned into like more grunge type bands.
Okay.
So, like, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And beyond that, I'm trying to remember what was the first band. I know 36 Crazy Fists was one early on that I got.
The early on band?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got into them. And from there, it was kind of like 36 Crazy Fists, Lamb of God, that type of thing. And then, like, Under Oath, like a, different kind of shift.
Okay.
Which that kind of led me into, that's kind of two different sides of heavier music, like early on. Kingsdown, I had no idea who they were. I had a friend that liked some of the same music as I did, and he's like, "There's a show in Jonesboro."
Gotcha.
I was like, "Oh, well, who is it?" And he said, "Kingsdown." I'm like, I have no idea who that is.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Never been to a local show, though, so I'm like the new guy.
That's great.
Yep. So went, and obviously they did their job because I kept coming back. They were a super good live band.
They were a stitch there for a while. I mean, they visited Jonesboro often.
Yep. They got pretty big.
They did.
Yeah. Man, there's so many bands that I've seen. Like, I remember, so before I really got into like as far as playing around the Jonesboro area, I remember, of course, After the Altar. Shout out to those guys.
Absolutely.
Chuck, Brian.
Yo,
those guys.
shout out. So good,
yeah.
man.
And I always looked up to Brian too as a vocalist. Dude's a beast.
I went back and listened to their demo. Man, those guys got, I think, probably next to Kingsdown, and there was one of those bands that, man, anytime they were on a flyer, like, the show was going to be packed because I think they were a really amazing band, but man, they were really just great, solid guys.
Yeah.
Like, Chuck and Brian and everybody, and everybody loved it because they were just really, really good dudes. I remember hanging out with them after a show one time, and it was no mistaking it. They were just People loved them. They're just down to earth, played heavy music, and they loved, and they just
Yep.
did what they did because of the fun of it. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? And I
Yep.
love that. I love that so much. And um, so I mean, I never really got a chance to see. I don't know if I ever got a chance to see Kings Down, but I really expected them to kind of like blow up type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I mean, dude, they got pretty big. I can't remember what the I want to say they had a record label. I know they I kind of lost touch with it after a little bit because they
Yeah,
had put out some new stuff like from maybe an upcoming album or a new single release, and it was a lot different. So
yeah.
I kind of, you know, just
So you were blown. So where was that show at? When you were, so your first show, where was that?
that was it was a powerhouse show. I want to say it was on Main Street. I know they played at the building, what is that? It's not like a YMCA. It's what is it behind, like it's on Union. It's right there like behind where Cregan's is.
Oh, I think that was the building that Chase was talking about. Was it the dang
I wish
Chase?
I could remember the name
Because
of
I
it.
think it was like some type of youth city building type of
Oh
thing.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I can't
Yeah,
remember
City Youth something.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so it wasn't that place. I seen them somewhere else before. I did see them there, but that was later. The
right.
first one I seen was somewhere on Main Street, but that was like I had just moved back to
I
the
gotcha.
area
I
and
gotcha.
like yeah, went to the show. So kind of
So how old were you then?
man 17, 16 or
17.
17.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
16 or 17. No, 16. 16. Yeah.
So you walked away with impressions.
Oh, it was awesome, dude, because it was something I wasn't used to. Like I hadn't really been to. I loved music, but I hadn't been to a lot of concerts. I went to like Memphis in May, stuff like that. So I would go see like, I'd seen some like hard rock bands essentially, and then like that was kind of like the push outside of listening to
I
heavier
gotcha.
stuff, like seeing it live. I was like, whoa, because they brought the show. Like they were an energetic live band. That's what sold me was
Yeah.
like not just musically, but like the energy from the live show.
Yep.
That's what sold me.
And I think that's the capturing of like seeing like I think it's the perfect storm of like seeing those type of bands full of so much energy, not only like sonically and visually, but like also being so you're so much more like up close and personal. Like you're there, like you're not sitting in a seat way back, like
Yeah,
at like an arena or at a festival. I mean, I'm not knocking any of those things,
yeah,
but I think that's really what kind of captures people is like I'm seeing this sonically different music that's definitely outside like radio waves or music videos and just seeing the absolute like because it does have a style of its own, it has charisma of its own, and you're like it's kind of like you're sweating with everybody, you know, and
yeah.
there's bo and you're getting hot and all these things, you know, and I think you walk away from it, you know, you're like
It's
this is
it's almost
out.
it's almost like too like as your first experience, it's a lot of fun, but like within that group of people, there's camaraderie. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like that's what I like so much about it. Whenever we were playing, is we knew we were going to see certain people all the time. We would have outsiders that would come in. People that were newer to it. Um, but I mean, that was the best, dude, because it was people getting in the pit and you'd smash each other and then you know high five and
That's it.
hang out later. Like it was all good.
Have you ever like tried to, I'm sure you have, I don't even know why I'm asking this question, but when you like try to explain to people like not only what kind of music you play, but what kind of music or shows you go to. Have you ever tried to explain that into words? Like,
Man,
and I don't know, like, what how much success you really have to
it's
explain it to outsiders.
it's so tough. Like that's why. Well, my first thing that I would say would be catch a show because you don't just like if you're trying to get somebody into like that type of music, like if they're listening to like Morgan Wallen or something, and you're trying to talk about heavy music and you put it on in the stereo, they're never going to go to a live show. But the live show experience, I mean, that's what grabbed
Yeah,
me to kind of
yeah.
you know, branch out a little bit. And it wasn't even heavier. Like Kingsdown wasn't heavier than 36 Crazy Fists, but it was the energy.
It's right, right. And I think that's probably the best approach because that's what really, I mean, I talk to so many people, but that's why I think it's so interesting to talk about people's first encounters because you really don't know until you go like to a show. I think had I heard the music before I
Yeah,
actually went to the show and saw the band, I think my impression would have been a much more different. I probably might have more kind of stayed away, or I might have, who knows, I might have ran to it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You
But
know,
that's kind of like the 50-50
the
shot.
50-50
Yeah.
shot there. So it's like, hearing really heavy guitars, but these aren't heavy metal guys because always akin to like, and no disrespect, so don't nobody get their feelings hurt. So like with like metal dudes, I didn't like, it's like I thought of like metal, I thought of like Iron Maiden, I thought of like Wizards and Dragons and all those type of things or whatever. But
Hmm.
then I'm like, I'm going here, I'm hearing these thrash guitar parts that I've always loved, like from like Anthrax or Metallica and things. But then I'm like, but these guys aren't, you know, these guys don't have long hair, or these guys aren't like worshiping Satan or doing any
Yeah.
rituals or whatever, but it's like it's different. You know what I'm saying? It was
Hmm.
like I like it. And they had something of like substance to talk about.
For
That's like
sure.
I was like, yo, whatever this is, I'll take it.
Yep. And
Yep.
initially, like, I like the fact of what you just said about having something to say because initially, like, what brought me into it was the energy, like the sound, just the full experience,
Yeah.
And then later, like, once I, found the new love for that type of music,
Hmm.
obviously that expands and you know how it goes. You'll find the same things regurgitated a different way. So
Sure.
you'll
Yeah.
come through and find the, similar stuff, whatever. But that's the biggest transition for me was finding not just trying to find something heavy, but find something that was like that had something to say, like what, you know, I'm I'm big into lyrics. Like that's my favorite
Yeah.
part of it. So like to me, that like now especially like sound has a big part in it,
Right.
but like, if I have two songs that sound kind of similar,
Yeah.
like I'm looking at like what is it, what does it say? What's the message? What's the meaning behind it?
Absolutely, because that's one thing that we've that we as a band have encountered firsthand is like your lyrics and your message because there is something to say. If it were just about the sound,
Yeah.
it's more than that too. And it's there's something to say, something important to say, and sometimes it's something you might not want to hear, but it
Yeah.
needs to kind of get out. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
maybe you want to touch base on like some of the songs now that we're doing, as far as
Mhm.
like Brick and Mortar or Steady Hands, like what
Yeah.
message is going on there?
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Uh so back to what you said, I mean it's really a vulnerable thing. So people that write and especially share what they write,
Yeah.
hats off to them because it's I mean, I'm not somebody that likes to open up to people like that. So for me, it's like, I mean, if it wasn't for music, for me it would never be said. because
Gotcha.
I'm just not the type to just throw it out there.
Sure.
Uh, but so we'll start with well, we got Steady Hands and Brick and Mortar that are out right now.
Yeah.
Brick and Mortar is from firsthand experience of what comes with addiction and
Gotcha.
everything that kind of surrounds that. So whenever you come, it's kind of like a multi. It's looking at it from kind of two different lenses. You know what I mean?
Okay.
The lyrics are pretty self-explanatory. I don't just come out and say exactly what it is all the time, but I try to be creative
Right.
in delivering like direct,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So it looks at it from, like an outsider's perspective of an addict,
I
kind
gotcha.
of, that's how it starts off. The you're all the same
Right.
perceptions dictated by prescriptions. So that's
Oh
outsider
wow.
perspective.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then not going to go through the whole lyric breakdown, but you get
Sure.
to the end part, and it's really cool that this was the one that my son was on because that was one of the biggest, you know, like key factors of, just my reassurance of like being,
Right.
doing the right thing. So,
Right.
um, after Kai says peace, the you drove me home but left me in a godless place, rid me of the life I loved, it never loved me back. That's like the I'm done with it, never going back.
Right.
Because whenever you're
Oh,
whenever you're in it, it's like love, man. You can't live without it. Like that's the way you think is like,
right.
if I don't have it, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
So, you know, and it was, yeah,
And I think it's like, yeah, thanks for, man, yeah, thanks for talking about that because that really kind of gives some perspective too. And I know it's definitely a vulnerable spot to kind of like, to talk about and everything. And I
yep,
think you do it in a, I think you do it like a painter would paint a picture. You kind of like, this is kind of like what we're looking at if you
yeah,
take a step back and having the outsider view and also having like having a personal view that you
hmm,
personally went through. And I think it gives it kind of like that 30,000 foot view, right?
yeah,
But all the same, it also gives it a very personal view too. And I think one that's my favorite part of the song is like after that because there is this tension. And I think the song and the lyrics. That's why I really love what we're doing because I think and we were talking earlier before we got started. You know, on the pod with Stephanie and everything was like that really was the missing aspect. I think was just the we had lyrics to songs, but I think this one I think it's all about timing. Because like I
yeah,
said, I'm never I mean, no disrespect to anybody who's helped vocally with the band, but I think time and place and
yeah,
everything where we're at in life and the life that we've lived and everything else, I think things just kind of have more meaning because we kind of sometimes we share battles, sometimes we don't, sometimes they intersect or whatever. But I think
yep,
maybe coming with age, and maybe this is having kids, and all the struggles that you kind of your perspective changes. So it's kind of like and two kind of like in kind of what the area that I kind of work in on the 9 to 5. You see that and hear that
yep,
struggle, and it's a very very real place, and people can be looking from an outsider view of how being very, very judgmental and quick to like they have the market cornered on like what your life is like, and that's just
yeah,
unfair. And so, but I know I'm taking the scenic route around, but as soon as like he says peace, after that tension is built
yeah,
up, it's
yep,
just like, I mean, I still get goosebumps because I hear it because I'm hearing it just like just multi-level like it's just this anthem of like this freedom, right?
yeah.
Just like this,
It's
this
victory, man.
just breaking, yeah, this victory, just breaking through this brick wall, just brick, just shattering everywhere.
Yeah,
And that's just a powerful, powerful song. And I always joke around with you, and I always go, man, this song makes me want to X up, because it is a powerful song about, you know, about addiction, but it's also a powerful song about free from like, uh, being free from it and like,
Hmm.
what life is like
Yeah,
on the other side of it. That could be anything, right?
yeah, and it like whenever you go through and listen to the lyric, like it's like what you said as far as the writing style. I don't know. I'm influenced by different people. Obviously, Keith Buckley is the man.
Use the
Is the man.
man.
Um, but yeah, so I try to make it somewhat abstract, but like parts are very direct and other parts aren't. It may be kind of metaphorical or whatever, but I just as a whole, I want people to be able to kind of run with it like whatever
Yeah.
because that's the way. I mean, man, there's so many songs that I think of that I'm like, what are they talking about? Like, I want to know what it is, and I love it. And then there's been other songs that I listen to, and I'm like, oh, I love that. I felt that. I've been through that.
Hmm.
And then later on, you hear the artist explain it, and it's something completely different
Right.
because it's not, just direct. So I like that approach to it too. I like people, anybody that consumes our music, I want them to be able to kind of, you know, take whatever they want
Yeah.
from that, because you can put that to a lot of stuff, like
Oh,
especially steady hands. It's kind of it's not as direct. Like brick and mortar is more direct. There's some kind of abstract lines in there lyrically.
right.
Uh, brick and mortar, man, it's just about winning. It's about overcoming. I mean, it's war.
Well, and I think I love, and I think the best stories are just kind of told with like, because I think your way you're painting descriptions, like, I mean, your choice of words does a really good job, because sometimes I think just stating the facts is one thing, but I think telling a story, because I think there's more that's going on,
Yep.
because sometimes our feelings and our emotions, sometimes they only can be described in like with pictures, like brick, like using the word brick and,
Yeah.
and mortar and those type of things,
Yeah.
and
Shout out Corey. He's the one who
shout out Corey,
he
man.
named that song
Bro,
out of the lyrics. So
there you go. So what's up with Steady Hands?
uh man, that one's more of the uh mental health type of thing, like but just really an overcoming life type of song, and
Gotcha.
that's kind of what the picture I wanted to paint with it uh, from the starting. I mean, the first words are "It's war," so
Yeah.
coming in kind of hot. So yeah,
Uh,
man, "Steady Hands" is such a fun one, especially live.
yeah.
That song just has a good sound. It's got a good vibe to it.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, that one is just about not giving up and overcoming. All the lyrics surround that theme. So that one is
Right.
definitely a solid one. Uh, my favorite one lyrically, we haven't gotten a chance
Yeah.
to
Okay.
release yet, but that one's going to be fun. That one is going to be for the fans of the really intricate lyrics.
Okay.
So yeah,
Awesome. I'm excited. So that's been a really exciting part, for us. I know you're real artistic and meticulous about, as far as the vocal part. And you have, like, I remember we were doing the recording at Matt's place, and I loved, because you do have, I know I was kind of like, and I want to, I don't know, sometimes I could be over the top. I want to be careful though. I want to be careful and let people know, because sometimes life can be kind of pass us by, but we need to let people like know. You Sometimes they may, because I feel uncomfortable when people do it, but to let people know, like, yo, you do a good job at doing this.
yeah.
So 'cause I think you were really good at, because when you were real meticulous, you had a vision for like what you were hearing or wanting the lyrics, or what you're wanting the vocals to sound like,
Hmm.
and and to be like you're also a person of like not only of intention but like let's get it right.
Yeah.
If we're here, let's get it right. This is kind of and and let's try it again. Or you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I really respected that because the proof is in the pudding. We couldn't. I was just. I mean, I was like just overwhelmed when like
Yeah.
the final product came out.
Yeah.
So
Like the process itself is intimidating. Kind of going through it before in different places. Like we recorded it at Blue Chair, which this was AHP, so this was a while ago.
right,
But it was the same, you know, same type of thing. Same pattern. You did the band, and
right,
then you would go through and do the vocals. So I knew the process from that, and then like I said, Cody with Strength of Arcadia,
yeah,
we did that. So I was familiar with the process. So with that, I just want to make sure that like I didn't have like the intentions were good. It was efficiency stuff, and then like me being able to be on the outside of you guys, playing the instrumental tracks.
hmm
You know, I know that I have a different like I'll hear different things than what you hear.
right,
I'm writing the vocals to it, so I'm like, okay, with this cadence, maybe if we did this instead of this,
right.
it's just an overall contribution type of thing. But it's yeah, I
Because
mean,
because you were big about cadence,
yeah,
and I know we were talking a little bit before the pod. It was the writing process, your writing process. It's more than just kind of like, I guess how you said it. If you can correct me if I'm wrong, was like it matured into this place of like like writing down like lyrics that people kind of expect to hear from like our
yeah,
hardcore metalcore band
yep,
to being something that's a little more well this is just
yeah,
this is me this is me, this is my writing, um and writing it from a place of like vulnerability, but like also like you're big about cadence, like you're big about
mm-hmm,
let me hear the drums, let me
yeah,
see what's going to fit here, and not just it's not like writing like four or five stanzas and going, okay, I got the songs down,
yep,
and I'm gonna try to figure out. No, but you're like, no, you're wanting it to be like it's a literal, like to me it's kind of been like this thing, like not that I've ever thought that, but it's a literal, it's a key concept, it's a key thing that needs to be there. I mean,
yeah,
not that's never had to, but I'm saying like it's like you treat it like a like you are the instrument. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. I mean, that's to me, that's where the best product comes out because you can take simplistic lyrics and just kind of blanket it
Yeah, yeah,
over a track, but I'm like so into the detail. Like I love the fine details, man.
hmm
Like that come with cadence, and it just helps out the parts. Like for a two-step part, I already have sort of a flow of what cadences I like to use,
sure,
but you get influenced by you know different people, different
sure.
things, get different original unique ideas, whether it's for vocal breaks or whatever. But it's yeah, man. I mean, it can change a song in a major way.
Well, yeah, I mean your cadence on the two step on Steady Hands is like my favorite. I love that part.
Yeah.
I love that part so much. And yeah, so you're talking about influences, like so Keith Buckley.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, I'm a big. I tell you what, I mean, like I'll get out of the way here in a sec, but like when Hot Damn came out, like reading through those
Oof,
lyrics on that
dude.
record I was so impressed of his writing. Just I mean, without even hearing him, but like
Yeah.
he's a fantastic writer. I'll let you go on. You kind of
Yeah.
talk about all that,
Man.
like the
He
influences and
he
stuff.
he's the man to me. Like that's the guy in my opinion.
Right.
There's nobody that writes like him. Um, he has such a unique way of you know getting a point across while it's still being kind of a mystery. Like
Absolutely.
uh, the best example of that is that "Every Time I Die," their song "Off Broadway." Whenever you read those lyrics, like it gets you to think, but you can't really put it together. And I know what it's about now, but like I challenge people to go read that, and I
Right.
mean it's awesome. And then you've got Floater. Floater is one of their more popular ones,
Yeah.
but dude, that one holds up for sure.
Yeah, because we were coming back from practice yesterday, and me and Jordan, we were listening Godspeed at the Sea.
Yeah,
Is that what it was? And it's like, holy
even
cow.
they got some stuff off of the album Low Teens.
Hmm.
It was a more recent album. It wasn't their latest one, but it's my second favorite. Hot Damn, obviously,
Hmm.
first favorite, and then Low Teens. But this is after his daughter was born, and
Hmm.
his daughter had some sort of sickness or something. I can't remember like what it was specifically,
Really?
but yeah, it she was kind of in a bad way for a little bit, and he wrote about it a little bit in I know the song "The Coin Has a Say." He kind of hints at it in there, which is awesome, like
Wow.
amazing. And yeah, Keith Buckley, he's really passionate dude, but
Right.
he doesn't come out and just
Right.
throw it at you a certain way. He's an artist. Like that is what he is.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Um.
Yeah, I mean, he truly is. He's written like a legit novel, right?
Yes. Yes. I have one of them on audiobooks on my phone. Yeah.
Nice.
I got that. Yeah, dude. He's just like he is the epitome of a master of his craft, in my opinion. Like that's the man. There's other guys that I really, I
Yeah,
mean,
I was
that
going
I
to ask
love.
who else. I know Keith is the obvious, but anybody else that kind of like that you kind of pull from at all? Like,
Yeah,
oh,
Brendan Murphy from Counterparts.
okay,
He's
he's really good. I
man,
like that
man.
guy.
He is phenomenal. He's really good. Um, I mean, honestly, I know it's kind of hit or miss because I've been impressed with it. Like Phil Bozeman from Whitechapel. So some of the stuff, some of the earlier stuff was, just
Oh
insanity.
yeah, oh yeah.
But like they found a sweet spot. Like they've had insanity and then they've had basic stuff.
Okay,
They had like some really basic kind of repetitive type songs. But dude, there was a sweet spot in there. Like and Phil's a smart dude. Like he's
gotcha,
good too.
gotcha.
But Brendan Murphy, uh, he's he's a good one.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Counterparts, yeah.
I saw them, and I know I always do Furnace Fest references because that's basically the one time of the year where I get to see like all the bands I want to see, right? But like, man, first time I got the song, see, oh my lord, first time I got to see them, um, and I was super impressed by the show, but also him. I thought he was just a really, really good,
He engages.
down to earth guy. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, I felt so bad. I mean, have you ever listened to bands going? And Gary, do you want to answer for why you haven't been listening to this band, for all these years?
Yeah, they have they have a pretty cool catalog, man. They
Yeah,
have some really really melodic stuff, like even
yeah,
stuff that's a little
they
bit
do a
softer.
really good job with that,
They have some songs that just punch you in the throat, though.
dude.
Like they have a song called "Thieves," and it's yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ah, okay, yeah.
It's about as aggressive as it gets.
They can move the floor, and let me tell
Yes,
you,
yes.
let me tell you.
I like his. I like Brendan's stage presence too. He's engaged in the crowd. Like he really knows how to move a crowd a little bit. And I seen him in Little Rock, and yeah, he did a really good job.
So I kind of I want a few more things to talk about, but I want to. This one kind of comes to mind, like since you brought it up. Who brings who brings really good stage presence as a vocalist to you? That's really kind of gone like, well, yeah, that guy he does about as good a job as you can.
Me? No, I'm kidding. Okay,
Hey,
so
hey,
stage present.
but hey, listen, my ADD. But anyway, sir, but me and Jordan were riding on we were driving on the way back. Dude, Bleeding Through came on. One of the songs on This Love, what's it called? This Love is Murderous or whatever. Dude, that dude, I was like, that kind of sounds like Lonnie. Anyway, go ahead.
Bleeding Through.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
I've listened to them.
Yeah, like
There's
that.
some song.
This is love. This is murderous.
It was something about something gunfight. I think
Yeah. What do you do? Oh, okay. Sorry.
something about gunfight. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, it was from the movie Boondock Saints because they're like, and there was a
Yeah.
firefight.
Yeah. That was it. That's the
Yeah.
song I know. I don't know a whole lot of them. I know I've heard them,
Well,
but yeah, I'll have to check it out now, especially.
yeah, a song called "Wings of Lead" came on. I go, oh my gosh, dude! Like Brandon from Bleeding Through sounds like Lonnie
So
from IATC.
nice. Hey, I'll take it. Um, Man, that's a tough question because Keith obviously comes to mind just for stage presence and
Yeah,
the music itself. Um, Man, that's really tough.
because
Hmm.
that leads me into my next question.
Okay, I would say if I'm having to just riff it right here and right now, I would say we got Keith Buck. It'll be pretty similar.
Yeah.
Keith, Brendan, and we'll throw a little bit of a wild card in there. We'll go. Oh, dude, the king of the call outs, Matt Honeycutt.
Oh, you're so good.
Absolutely, that dude is a G.
So we are, me and Lonnie are like captain and co-captain of the Matt Honeycutt fan club.
Absolutely,
Man,
dude, I'm all about it.
how fanboy would you be? Like, yo, we're gonna play a show at Kubla Khan.
Oh, dude, I would. I mean, I would be a giddy little schoolgirl,
Oh
dude.
my lord!
I mean, I'd be all about it. I mean, they're for one, everybody loves them. I mean, they're an awesome band. You know what I mean? And then
Oh
Matt,
yeah,
just Matt and his call outs.
are the
That is the
best.
best, dude.
The
There's
best.
nobody that does that.
The best.
He just takes the most random stuff.
Stephanie is chuckling next to us
I
because
know.
we went to Furnace Fest and that was our first impression of like
You guys seen it?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
What did you say about peanut butter?
I don't know. He has a fascination with lots of foods,
Dude.
with guacamole especially.
Yep. I know. I know. One of the
Afraid
crowd
of
calls.
guacamole.
Tell me what it tastes like.
Yeah.
Turn someone into guacamole and tell me what it tastes like.
That's
I know
right.
that's one. I know he likes to. He requests that the ladies get
Yeah.
to moving.
Yep.
He says he's got one that's like a military call out. He's like, I need you to enlist, soldier, and so, I don't know. He's the man, dude. He's the man.
Again, one of those things you need to go experience for yourself.
Yep. Yeah, he's the man, dude.
Hardcore is not a spectator sport.
Correct.
You need to get in there.
Correct.
If you got to step away, at least get an earshot. You'll love it, man. I tell you what.
He demands it, and I love the fact that
He does.
he embraces the Texas thing, like coming out with like a white wife beater, jeans, boots, and
Yeah.
Mustache hat,
Yeah.
and he's just like, come on, baby, just
Arr,
Yeah.
all those type of.
he gets carried away with the barking sometimes.
He
Though.
does. I'm like, he's just like
Yeah.
this freaking pit bull behind the fence.
He is though. Like you look at him and you're like, okay, makes sense though. Like
Oh,
I mean,
mercy.
he's jacked. Yeah,
I'm like, you, sir.
yeah.
Absolutely. And that's that was the show of the weekend, I think, that one year that we went.
If you watch him though, like there's a couple podcasts he did. Like you watch him on those, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Didn't know that he would be like that.
Yeah, we actually
Like,
listened
he's
to
chill.
We listened to one on the way back after because we were so impressed, not only with their sound but like just like just his whole persona and
Oh
everything,
yeah,
you know,
dude.
and I knew just by I just knew about like his personality and the way he carried himself that he'd be like kind of one to like he'd be good on the podcast.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude.
so hey, so we're gonna take a commercial break and we'll be right back.
I need you to turn someone into guacamole and tell me what the it tastes like.
We are back. Our bladders are empty and we are ready to roll. And
Yes.
we are filling up ourselves on coffee and energy drinks. Lonnie, you drink lots of
Sparkling
drinks.
water.
Yeah.
Yep. Lots.
So,
Lots and lots.
so when Lonnie shows up to band practice, guaranteed he's carrying in 2 drinks.
Yep. One is normally just a big bottle of water, like massive. The other is either sparkling water or maybe like a zero sugar energy drink, like what I got here. Like
What's the one that you introduced me to? That's really really good.
okay, that's the sparkling water. That's a caffeinated sparkling water. And since you asked me, I don't know.
Uh,
Normally, I would remember. It's
I tried to keep the empty can as long as I could.
man, I
I should have took a picture.
yeah, I'll be able to tell you. It's a pretty popular
Okay,
brand. Yeah,
okay.
it's not like a smaller company. It's
God,
pretty
was
popular.
Jordan has some of this stuff at his house.
Waterloo.
Waterloo.
Yep.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
that's not as that's not it doesn't have as much flavor. So that's like you don't need to start there. You need to start at the one that like I brought the
It's
blue
like
one.
drinking battery acid. I hate
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's rough around the edges.
It's an acquired taste.
Very
Just
yeah.
like how people talk about beer and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
literally the same because whenever I first tried the sparkling water, I hated it. I'm like, dude, this is just carbonated
Well,
water.
that's my thoughts. Like, why would anybody choose to put this? Uh,
Yep. But
anyway,
it will grow on you. It will.
mercy.
Now I can't not have it. So
I know. That's okay. And we made an oath. Uh, we made an oath to make sure that a future potters will potters future future guests will have like we'll make sure they have their drink here.
oh
Yeah.
we're
Remember, but this is a straight edge podcast, so you know you can.
yep.
Anyway, but
Not
anyway,
you're not slinging
energy drinks. And stuff.
not slinging whiskey out the back over here. Well, that's how you said open bar, so I showed up. I didn't know
Oh,
what
but
you meant.
there it is.
All right.
Oh yeah, about that. So listen, me and Lonnie are going to do this on the fly, the top 5 on the fly, and we're just gonna like. Are you cool with that? Are you comfortable with that?
Let's do it.
Can you like pull like 5 bands you've been listening to currently?
Yep, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay. All right. I think I'm gonna try to do the same. We did this last time with Malika, and it worked out pretty good. So I'm confident that it'll work out this time. So what it is, we're just gonna come up with a top 5 on the fly of our favorite current listenings, records, tracks, bands. So I'm gonna start it off, if that's okay.
Get it.
Okay. Um. So so I've been kind of on this like hardcore adjacent thing recently. Just not really hardcore bands, but bands bands that like hardcore kids would kind of like listen to. They're not, because we were talking before we kind of got started how because man, if you're just listening to like heavy and hardcore and metal and nonstop and everything, you need to kind of like that's no good. You need to kind of branch out because there's lots of amazing people putting out great art, and you might find them in the most strangest of places and genres. So
Yep.
I'm going to kick it off. I started. I actually went back. I time traveled back to. I was going to group these. I'm just going to group these two records together under the band. The band's called Branson. They put out a record in 2001 and 2003. One is called Dial In Sounds, and the other one's called Send Us a Signal. It's really a band I've always known about, and my friends have would listen to and always brag about, but that I never really got into or never tried to get into. But I actually this week I went to go and listen to both of those records, and I love them. I'm definitely going to revisit those records, especially Send Us a Signal. I think that's just a really, really good. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like it kind of sounds. It's kind of in the emo vein, but it's not like to where don't be going on. It's not My Chemical Romance or anything like that. It's really, really much really solid songwriting. No screaming, just real kind of like indie. If you're like maybe indie rock would probably be the best. I know indie rock is such a broad brush, but
Yeah.
go take them a listen. They're kind of low key. If you don't know Branson, and they kind of spell their name Barndtson. So it's kind of a little bit of a different spelling. But anyway, I'm just going to group Branson together as my number 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you want me to go with
Yeah.
my number 5 as well?
Yeah, number 5.
Okay. So we go and work up.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
All right. So on 5, I'll go band called Boundaries. The album is called Burying Brightness. They
Nice.
have a new one that they just came out with, and they have changed up a little bit. They've added a little bit more dynamic, but I mean Burying Brightness is just a like smack in the mouth heavy.
Is this off the new one?
No, Burying Brightness is the album. There's
Okay.
a track off of it called My Body is a Cage. That's a really,
A ripper.
yeah, it smacks.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice,
yeah,
nice.
it's a good one. But Boundaries as a whole, they're kind of blowing up a little bit.
They are.
But they are such a good live band. Like there's videos that I'll watch, like YouTube videos of their live set.
Yeah.
Killers, man.
I think you're the
Killers.
one to introduce me to them because I had
Right.
never heard of them.
Probably because I don't hear very many people talking about them. Like whenever I found them, I sent I have a small group of people that I'll share stuff like that with, and I know I shared
Yeah.
with you guys in the
Yeah.
band and my sister and Nathan. So
Did your sister listen to this? I mean, I don't
dude.
mean it like
Yeah.
how it
Oh, yeah.
sounded.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, she's in it, man. She loves it.
Bro, that's great, dude.
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Very cool.
My sister's the G.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. So Boundaries, and what was the song again?
My Body is a Cage.
My Body is a Cage. Okay. Okay. I want to make sure we kind of make sure to add. We'll add all these songs. We have like a running playlist. So if you have Spotify, we'll definitely and we'll find another way to do it too. Maybe we'll find a way to do it. Pull it up on YouTube. Maybe I'll do a playlist type of thing.
Yep.
We'll get creative. But anyway, we'll make sure that you have access to that, or we could just we can list them on the in the comments section when we post this on Instagram. So my number 4 is going to be. I'm looking at my list again. I'm going on my my hardcore adjacent stuff. There is so I'm a big fan. The band I'm going to list is the band is called Cloakroom, and they have a band called. They have an album out called Dissolution Wave. Dissolution Wave came out in 2022. The band is actually a side project of one of the guitar players of Nothing. I'm a huge Nothing. I'm wearing a Nothing hoodie right now. I'm a huge Nothing fan. Beautiful, beautiful music if you're into the shoegazy thing without being too wild. Super ambient. One of the records sounds kind of grungy. And actually the bass player for a while is the lead singer Jesus Piece. So he
Nice.
played bass. He plays bass in Nothing. So if you're like really low key, just music. They've been making music for a hot minute, so they have probably have a decade long catalog. Um, so go check that out. But anyway, nothing isn't the band, but Cloakroom is the band that's kind of reminiscent, but not. It's definitely all its own. Opening track is fire. So that's my number 4.
Cool. On mine, I'll go with this was one that I kind of just thought of. I thought I knew what I was going to go with, but I'll switch it up a little bit. So this is actually a band that Nathan Perrin put me on. The band
Okay.
is called Flake. The song is called On Again. It's not one of their more, well, they're not very popular in
Okay.
the first place, but it's kind of like that, I don't know, kind of Midwestern, like, I don't know, it's almost emo-ish in a way, but
Okay.
really good.
Flake.
Really good. Yep, band is called Flake. The song is called On Again. And whenever you listen to it, it's just one of those that it catches you off guard because it starts kind of slow, melodic. I
Yeah.
haven't dug into a lot of stuff by them, so I'm just kind of, I may be speaking a little bit out of turn about their genre, but the song itself is really good. I
That's
mean,
awesome.
yeah. It has a really catchy chorus that just it keeps, yeah,
that
It's one of
catches you.
those.
Wow.
But yep, Flake On Again. Check that one out.
Wow. Nathan Perrin, you don't say.
Yep. Shout out Nate Dogg.
Wow. Okay. Okay. That respect to that. So Flake is your 4. My 3 is going to be oh mercy. Da, 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 da. My number 3 is going to be a band from it's going to be a band from Buffalo, New York called Spaced. They actually had a new record come out on Revelation Records. It's called This Is All We Ever Get. Um, Singer goes off. She is awesome. I like this band. It's a hardcore band, but like hardcore's doing a different thing, and I think because what is happening, I think there's a lot of not that ever was not, but a lot of individuality, a lot of what people like out other than hardcore is coming out in their music because they kind of describe their style of hardcore as like trippy hardcore
Yeah.
because it has like other elements that you wouldn't necessarily kind of add to it. So it's hard to kind of like because they had like a lot of flange to the guitar and
Yeah.
things like that, and it's just if you like. I mean, the record is like it has several, I think like 8 or 9 songs. The album's only 15 minutes long, but it's love. I mean, I love it. I think it'd be a fun show to go to. And I listened to a podcast with the singer, and she was talking about how, she's from Buffalo, of course. And Every Time I Die, that's Buffalo
Yeah.
country.
Yep.
And I think that was her first show. Like, I think she saw like a mid-level Every Time I Die show there, and how she is. And I love it because it's kind of like you would think like somebody who's under the radar, like hardcore bands, like no, not a lot of people have heard of Spaced, but like you would think, well, they're probably not into like like major bands, but man, she just loved, she loved Every Time I Die and things like that, and that was kind of refreshing to know that like nothing is really, don't get stuck into the like mentality like, well, this is the music to play, and this is the only, and I can only listen to music within this, style, or
Yeah.
because you never know where your influences are going to be pulling from. I think you're kind of cheating yourself, but yeah, that was so refreshing. So
Absolutely.
she was on another podcast that if you do have Spotify, there's a podcast called 100 Words or Less, and I recommend anybody to listen to that podcast. I think Matt Honeycutt was on that one.
Really?
It's a really great. It's actually the podcast is I forget the guy's name anyway, but he was the lead singer of a hardcore band called Taken, and did the podcast. And he's got numerous, I mean, it's numerous guests, and they were a few of them. But yeah, anyway, long story short, that is my number 3.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay. Trying to figure out. I've got some that I've typed out here. So I will go Okay, let's go with Orphan. So Orphan is probably the heaviest thing that you can hear. But it's very unique. It's very unique.
Okay.
And it also is an acquired taste. They
Okay.
have two vocalists. These
Okay.
two vocalists were previously in a band called Strangled. So
Okay.
if anybody listening is familiar with Strangled, it's the same vocalist. One of them is really guttural, like low, just
Gotcha.
mean sounding.
Gotcha.
The other one has the most unique high scream you'll ever hear in your life. It's
Really?
weird. It's almost like I don't know. It's almost like it's angry, but like I don't know. It's just nasty. But
That's
with
awesome.
with Orphan, what I did with them, and musically they're just on point too. But they released a short album. I think it's technically considered an album. I don't know if it's an EP really or not. I don't
Okay.
know. But it's called Porcelain.
Okay.
So that one is really good. The way it starts off is with this really slow, really sad but pretty soft guitar.
Okay.
With the vocalist. He kind of has like a monologue that he talks about,
Oh, mercy.
like in reference to losing somebody, and then it just goes into absolute chaos.
Now, this is like a new one that you've been kind of
newer
Newer.
within the last year, yeah.
okay.
But I do play it. I mean, Orphan comes through the playlist
Okay.
pretty regularly for
So
me.
like who do they sound like? Like they're like
Oh man,
any
it's tough to put them in a bracket like that because I mean
Okay.
just from the vocals alone, I've never heard anybody
Wow,
sound
okay.
like yeah.
Are they from the States?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're from I
Wow.
want to say like Texas. Let me
Oh,
see.
wow.
I'll look into that
Yeah, dude.
real quick.
Yeah, go for it. Because like they're my head's just going straight to kind of like I was wondering like where they kind of came from because like they kind of sound like those like those bands like over from like Norway and Sweden, like those super dark
Yeah.
heavy bands and things like that. That's where my head is kind of going to. So I didn't know if that was like
Yeah, this band isn't very popular, and
Okay.
I won't hold us up and
Oh, no,
drag
you're
that part of it out. But
you're
they
totally fine.
they are 100% from the States. Like
Awesome.
they're one of their vocalists is I mean he kind of reminds me of Matt Honeycutt, to be honest
For
with
real?
you. Yeah,
Okay.
like he's got the southern drawl.
I gotcha.
He yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Okay. So be on the lookout for Orphan. That was your number 3?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so my number 2 is going to be a band called actually I had it playing in the car yesterday. It was a band called Life's Question. Because there's been a lot of cool hardcore releases come out this year, but I've been kind of like just hung up on I don't know, I've been kind of hung up on some of the hardcore adjacent stuff, and I've been kind of like listening to like a lot of oldies but goodies,
Yep.
and everything.
Same.
So, I had like some 80s jams or things like that. But anyway, so I started listening to a band called Life's Question. They put out a new one, and it's an EP. And again, like if nobody's familiar with like Flat Spot Records, Flat Spot's doing something different. They have like because hardcore is doing something different, and kudos to the guy who's running Flat Spot because they're catching these bands who are kind of like I said before, they're kind of breaking the rules because there's typically a sound for like hardcore, but now that's like, but they're kind of getting to a place, kind of getting this creativity, like where there's more singing parts, and there's just and they're being really kind of inventive and really creative about it. And that's a 5-song EP, and I definitely recommend because like at the first listen, I'm thinking like, oh, this is just your average, New York style hardcore, like Sick of It All or something like that, or
Yep.
or something tough as nails. And you pretty much have it all like predicted how the whole thing's going to sound, but you don't expect like some of these melodies, and because people were kind of like, hey, you know what? We're still a hardcore band. You know, it's kind of like Turnstile. I think kind of Turnstile kind of like
So good.
they kind of did that thing to where it's kind of like, hey, we're still a hardcore band, right? But
Yep.
they're kind of like, if somebody saw them like an outsider, they wouldn't kind of think like that's typical hardcore, but they are.
Yeah.
They are a hardcore band. I mean, the drummer, if I'm not mistaken, somebody can correct me, but the drummer plays in Trapped Under Ice or played in Trapped Under Ice, and so hardcore roots for sure. And Turnstile is just like the side project that's kind of blew up, but they're singing and there's these melodies parts, and they're just not scared to kind of like. I think it's more than hardcore. It's just that's where it kind of goes back to hardcore being more than a sound. It's being like, it's like this. It's this message. It's deeper. It's who we are, and it's kind of exposing that. So, but anyway, Flat Spot has bands like like Scowl, and Scowl is like a band. It kind of sounds like it's a hardcore band again, but it kind of sometimes just sounds like I don't know what. It kind of sounds like a. I'm trying to put the typical. It kind of sounds like '90s alternative.
Oh,
Like,
really?
and this like singing parts, that's like the singy pop alternative type parts, and so people are not scared to kind of branch out and do their own thing. But anyway,
I like the fact that you brought up Turnstile, because they're kind of like a. That's a good point. They're like a gateway band almost
yeah,
for
yeah,
people that would get into
yeah,
hardcore, like normally wouldn't. Like you wouldn't show somebody bang like somebody. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, but that's a good
yeah,
progression into it.
absolutely. You got bands who are going heavier and heavier, like Knocked Loose, but you have bands like Turnstile, and it's everybody. And I think that's the thing. It's like everybody's like, we're just going to be ourselves, and this is how we're kind of. This is how. This is us being a hardcore band. So it's like, yo, I'm for it. So that anyway, long story short, again, that band's called Life's Question. Check them out. I think you'll like it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Number 2, take a little bit of a different approach on this one too.
Got it.
This is a newer band that I found. I've shared a little bit about, but the band is called Higher Power. The song is called Absolute Bloom, and that is another one that will. I mean, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's like
You talked about that one yesterday. I remember.
Yeah, dude. It's like pop punk. They're from England or something. They're overseas band, but dude,
Good.
that is one of those that from the very beginning, like they had me hooked instantly. Like
Yeah.
there was no build up. It was just from the rip. Like it's a
That's awesome.
amazing song.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's as simple as it gets. Like that's one of those that I wasn't expecting to find. I stumbled across it.
That's awesome.
Found it, and it's a gem.
So how recent of a find is that?
Oh, this was probably a month ago.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I
Very,
love it.
very recent. Yeah.
So it's like a pop punky type band. I've heard the Higher Power before.
Yep.
I thought they did not.
Yeah, I had never heard of it. I was actually on Instagram, scrolling through Instagram, and I seen like they were, you know what it is, like recommended for you pages. And there's a lot of different bands that I've liked on Instagram or whatever. And I guess, it was one of the bands that I liked.
Dude.
Yeah, they kind of tied that together. It was a new release, so it got recommended, and I was like, well, let's just check it out. I don't always check out music on Instagram like that, but I was like, well, let's just see. I wasn't doing anything, so I hit it, and just off the rip, dude, I was
That's
like,
great.
wow. Yeah.
That's great. If you like pop punk, there's a really good band. The dude,
I love it.
the dude who did the story so far, is a band. He's in a band called No Pressure.
Yeah, Nathan shared them with
No
me.
Pressure, so good, dude.
Yep, I had actually listened to, like, I wasn't into them. Nathan was more into them than me. I'd heard a song or two, and we've shared that back and forth. But they're really good. They are really good.
I don't think they're signed at all.
Also,
And they're
really?
No, I don't think they're
That's
signed at all. And
crazy.
they're just. I remember the first time I heard them, I go, they have how many followers, and they're not
Hey,
signed at all. I'm like, whoa.
speaking of like the pop punky style bands, like pop punk / emo, got into the storyline because of
Yo.
hey, I
Shut
dig it, dude.
up.
I dig
The
it.
storyline is good. They can riff.
Yep.
They can riff, buddy.
I'm
They sound so
newer.
good.
I'm newer to them, but I listened to Secrets and watched the video. It's dope. I
They're
dig it.
good. They're good. They do what they do very, very well. I love Adam. All
Yep.
those guys are
Support.
amazing, amazing. They're great dudes, and they're great musicians too.
Yeah.
They're good dudes. Yeah, they're a good band. Uh, okay. So now my number one. Uh, I'm gonna go with my number one band. Not number, is a band called Crush Your Soul, which it's a side project from Jay Peta of Mind Force, which I'm a huge Mind Force nut. Love them. Ecstatic about them. Probably my favorite band out. So, but his side project is Crush Your Soul. I don't know what else to say about it. It's not a super long record. You should go listen to it. You won't be sorry. That's all I'm gonna say.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check it out. My number one, I've actually already shared with you in through the band messaging group,
Uh-huh.
but it's partially because of just how amazing it is. Like, it's produced phenomenally, but it's brick and mortar esque in terms of the meaning.
Yeah.
But band Body Snatcher, song Murder 8. Yeah.
Body Snatcher,
Yep. The song is called Murder 8.
Murder 8.
Yep. I didn't know. I thought it was a weird name. I'm not.
I've not listened to them.
Murder 8 is apparently a street name for what is it? Fentanyl. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a part in it. Their drummer actually wrote the song, like the lyrics for it. That the lyrics are good, really good, and they do a good job of kind of painting that picture. Like, if you listen to it, I recommend the YouTube video. And I cannot remember where I seen this at, but they said that the video that they show, I think, was sent to the drummer or something like that. But it's essentially the brother, their drummer lost family members due to overdose, like
Wow.
accidental overdose, fentanyl,
Wow.
and that's what it's about. So it's a pretty, yeah. I mean, it's a heavy
Wow.
song, and it's a heavy song.
Heavy
Yeah.
song.
Yeah. He says fentanyl made me an only child at one part of it, and the drummer doesn't do
Dang.
vocals, but he does vocals at that part. You can tell the difference. Oh, and it features Jamie Josta.
What?
Yeah.
I love Jamie Josta.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, that is crazy.
Can't miss with that.
Hate breed, man. And that's perfect for Jamie Josta, dude. That's perfect because
Let me make sure.
like when I first was like, like with your lyrics, like with Steady Hands and everything.
Yeah.
Yo, man, because Jamie Josta's all about that, like perseverance. I mean, no pun intended, but overcoming and just like
Yep.
with the challenges and obstacles in life, like
Dude.
kind of the obstacle is the way or whatever, that
Mhm.
type of thing. So that is incredible.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
for sure. Definitely check that one out, dude. It's good. Like Body Snatcher, they're like
That's great.
like just a heavy, like, beat down band, like
I love it.
metal, like kind of heavy hardcore metalish, but
I
I mean
love
just
it.
mean sounding. But Jamie, like his vocalist, like his vocals on that song have like, I mean, he does his Jamie Josta thing, but it vibes, dude. It works.
That is incredible.
Check
I
that
love
one
it,
out.
man. That's awesome. I'm definitely going to listen to that.
Right on.
So hey, listen, that's our top 5. So that's not your top 5. That's our top 5. And if you, so be nice. Okay. So anyway, so please post your comments too. You can post like, hey, your recent top 5 that have really kind of been, um, in your ears here lately, I want to hear all about it. We want to hear all about it. So please let us know. So that concludes our podcast day. So Lonnie, I love you,
Love you, man.
but I gotta.
I appreciate you
I
for,
could, you know, I'm not
for
gonna.
having me.
Oh, I loved you being here. The next time we'll have more drinks.
Let's do it.
More stacks and stacks of drinks.
Let's do it. And everybody come see I Am the Catalyst May 18th.
Come
Boom.
see us May 18th. You know, make the trek. If we have room in our vehicles, don't be shy. And if you need a ride, we'll try to give you a ride down there. Even if you got a ride on top of the roof. Anyway, we'll figure out a way. It's just donation, right?
Yep.
So, you know, money won't be a thing. So more people, the better. Let's show Francesca how Jonesboro does. We're having a great time there, acting a fool.
Yep.
Stage dive off some couches. I don't know what she has. What's the living room set up there?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Anyway, so come two-step, come dance with us, come have a good time. Anyway, but yeah, buddy, I love you and everything, but I can't hang out here and just talk to you all day. I got a thing I got to do.
Yep,
Okay?
gotcha. Love you,
Okay?
man. Thank
I love
you.
you too, buddy. Take care.